So I wanted to go through my recent match in the Hishachu League and talk about some of the stuff that was going on in the match. So here I was looking at the big one chain. So purple and green. And there it is. And he needs 2 greens, so it's really hard to get that if you don't have double green. And I think it's nice to win like that early on, just to like make your opponent worried that you might do that every round or something like that. Here I did well to make it 3 chain because they could have easily made it 2 chain, but it was hard for them to get more than 2. This round I'm looking at the 2 double with the yellow trigger, but because they only need a single purple to trigger their main chain, and my form's not going to be that good after I send it, I don't want to risk it here. Even if you don't see purples in the next window, they're going to get multiple draws in the time it takes for your chain to resolve, so it's not a very good bet to bet on them not drawing it. But if you like wait for them to continue on and then they cover it, then you can send it after. So here, I should have sent the 1 double, but I didn't do that. Here I'm still looking, they're still leaving the purple open, so I can't really commit to that. But when I saw them set this off, then I could set this off and beat them out. Or I thought mine would finish first, but theirs was a quick. So they actually got 1 more piece, but it was like, I saw them setting this off, and it was a 3 chain, and I knew mine was a much bigger 3 chain, so I tried to like time it so that right when they committed, I also committed at the exact same time. So it's like, they're putting it down and I put mine down. This was a good follow-up. Even with the yellow-green, it would only be 2, so they need like yellow-green, yellow-purple in a row. Here I'm looking at 3 with the greens, and since they sent a 2 chain, I sent my 3 chain. Dude, they're in trouble in this position, so... But that's a 3 chain. So they... Wow, I didn't realize. When I was playing, I knew I only had 3 here. But it's better that it stopped at 3. And then now that they're getting covered, I can follow up. I thought they weren't playing that well, but I guess I was just kind of playing really well. Here in the opening, I know I was going to go for the attack. But I could see it wasn't really coming how I wanted it to, so I just converted into GTR on the right side. Here I can look at a 2 double on the left side. But watch out, they might try to poke here with the yellows and purples. So I'm trying to make a 2 double on the right side to beat if they just make a 2 chain. Or try to stack the yellow purples in multiple stacking and make a 3 chain. I'm trying to beat that out before it happens. So I'm going to try and make a really big 2 chain like this. And now I'm going to look see the way they're stacking it, if they get a bunch of purples, it's going to be a 3-chain, so that's what I was saying was coming up. Either a 2-chain if they just commit immediately, or a 3-chain if they do multiple stacking. If they do nothing, they can build up though. Like they can add in the red link to make a 4-chain, so you can't like blindly commit. But there's the 2-chain. I'm not going to get the blue in time, so I had the right idea, but I didn't get there in time. But that was the thing, the exact thing I wanted to counter with this. I just didn't get to set it off in time. And then I don't know if there's so realistic. Like here, if they split, they could have done a big 1-chain with the yellow purples. I could see all the yellow purples coming, and sometimes so people either tend to multiple stack with that, or they just attack off of it with all the matching colors. So if I just didn't make the 1-chain, I would have been fine, I think. But that's it. Here we're doing the exact same build, which is strange. They could do a big poke on the yellows. I don't think I saw that while playing, but they didn't do that anyway. Here their build with they're finishing with the double reds. They're gonna probably do the 2-chain, but they didn't. I just main chained because I didn't think they like their tail isn't that good, and it's hard to extend without doing extra pops, so they're gonna lose time. And then they messed up the extension. What? Oh, they need one more green. Here, they're getting their transition area set up so they could make a 2 or 3-chain pretty quickly, so that's something to watch out for. Like here, green, yellow, now that's going to be a 2-chain if they get another green. If they get purples, they can make a 3-chain. So already I have to be thinking about that. And there's the green, yellow. So if I add the blues, I can make a cut for a 3 double or 2 double 3. I think that's what I was looking at to counter the early 2-chain if they go for it. But if they don't go for it, I can do multiple stacking and convert out into a different build like this. So now I have a 3-chain on these blues, or I can convert to main chain. I still have the yellows trigger as well, but now it's getting to be not as good. It would be wasting a lot. And I should probably do this. And just oh, yes. Oh yeah, okay. I'm gesturing a lot with the mouse, but you can't see it. So here it still looks like they're gonna do 3 probably by adding in the purples. That's what it looks like. I'm trying to counter it in advance, but it's a bit risky because they could even make 4 or 3 double. But I was just trying to pressure them. So here if they set off the greens, it's like even. But they would try to go bigger. They're gonna have stuff left over to counter with after the garbage falls though. But if column 1 gets blocked, they can't set off their main chain. Well, they can do blue-green on column 2. And it didn't get blocked. But they're looking at 3 double. 3 double, and it's like 3 double, there's not much else to do. Here, I focused on the tail, so my chain is pretty efficient here. Like, a lot more than usual for me. So that's one of the areas I'm improving in a lot with practice. So usually I would lose these rounds when they just set it off, but now I have really efficient chains, so they just don't have enough. And that was a really big margin. So that's one of the areas you can see I improved quite a bit. Here, I'm trying to be tricky. I was gonna make a normal chain, now I'm trying to convert the tail into a 2-double and attack with it or defend. I can also convert the front into a 2-double, so I'm looking at both of those options at the same time, or even connecting across, making like a 2-quad or 2-triple with the reds. Here it looks like they're going to defend with the 3-chain, and they need double greens, which can sometimes be difficult. I wasn't really getting the draws I wanted, so I was going up and converting out of the attack into multiple stacking, or a higher level attack, like an attack on a higher part of the board, but same idea. So the 2-double is going to reappear up here with the green trigger instead of the red trigger. And they still have the 3-chain defense. It's hard for them to get the main chain again because they need 2 greens, so they kind of have to commit to that. So I'm going to have a chance to look at attacking. They also might put a yellow and block off the blue trigger, and the 3-chain by itself isn't really that. It's not a good counter to what I'm about to send, so it looks like a good attack option. So they either have to send the 3-chain, which is not that good because my 2-double has a lot of power, or greed for the yellows, but here I can look to see if there's yellows coming. But I didn't commit here, and now I committed, and now they put the greens in, so it would be main chain. So now I have to um, decide if I, like, it's going to depend on where they place this yellow-blue, because the natural extension is to put the yellow down in column 4, and then that blocks off the trigger, and then it'll depend on the next colors if they can set it off. So most people don't just blindly set off their main chain unless they see your attack in advance. So if they don't see it, they're probably going to set it down with the yellow on the bottom and block off their trigger. And they did that. But it's tough because you have to, like, you can't slow down to see if they do that. You just have to, like, either do it blind or just guess that that's what they're going to do. So I was like, I think they're I think they're just gonna play through, and they aren't like super reactive to what I'm doing. So I'm just gonna commit to the 2-double, and I still have a form left over that I can extend. It's also a lot faster when you don't pause. So it's like when I pause, it looks, you can look at it a lot more. Here, I'm gonna follow up faster so they don't dig. Here, we're both at the same area, but depending on the color distribution, one of our boards might be easier to do multiple stacking faster, which might lead to opportunities to attack faster. Here they are. This looks very tough to build. It looks very committed to main chain and not very flexible. So if I want to poke here, I would do small pokes and try to force them to set off their main chain because they don't have much flexibility to do anything else. So here I'm looking at small 2-chain, maybe 2-double with the red yellow. Here they're trying to build up, so now they're forcing a 2-chain and multiple stacking. The blue red's going to help a lot, so they can connect to main chain and be defensive at the same time. But it's still okay to poke with like a 2-chain or a 2-double with the blue yellows. But I think I was getting kind of lost here with what I wanted to do, like jumping between different ways of triggering something, but not doing any of them. So now they have a 4-chain defense, and now it's hard to do anything because my build's not good for a main chain or for attacking, and it's not a good time to attack. But I kind of have to do it anyway, and they committed to main chain, so now if I can get it off, I can win. But I have to extend too. And I didn't really know how I was doing. Wait, blue? Mm, no, I didn't know how I was doing it. Here, they're gonna have a good defensive build, so they're gonna build to a 4 chain, and it'll be hard to like beat them with a 2 double. But I'm also doing a similar type build, so I'm not gonna be looking to be super aggressive at this exact moment because they have a 4 chain on the yellows. But I can see that coming up as I'm playing, so that's already what I was thinking. So I'm gonna build a similar thing probably. Build a 4 chain on the blues once I put the purple in. But when they clear that, they only have 3, so I might send the 4 chain. Because now they only have 3 and they have to extend. And it's not that easy to get 5. And they can send main chain, but I might be able to out extend it. So now it's down to the extension. I'm looking for the blues while building the towel. And there's the blues, but I didn't know how to make use of those colors. And I think that's the difference. Yeah. Although, one thing they say is that you never want to give the opponent an easy round, so make them work for every point. So that's what I was trying to do. So go. I'm gonna make as big of a 2 chain as I can into a 3. So there's still a chance here. Oh, here I remember I misdropped because I wanted to put a yellow. Yeah, and then I accidentally triggered the red instead of triggering the purple. Although I was gonna lose anyway. I should put that on the tail. Here they're doing multiple stacking. We're in similar spots in our build. But they can look at a 2 double here with blue purple and trigger on the green. And it's a pretty efficient one, so it's something you really want to watch out for. I think I missed the idea of putting a blue and a purple here and triggering the greens to make a 3 chain, so I tried to force another trigger like this, and then they have that 2 double I was talking about, and I didn't get the colors, and I didn't realize I could set off the green either. Like, I realized after I put down the first green, I was like, oh, I could have triggered the green, but then I didn't get the second green, so then I lost. Here I'm looking to attack. So once we get here, if I put it in column 5, I'm really committed. If I put it into column 4, then I might be able to make a chain out of it. But I put it in column 5, I remember. And then they didn't put the yellow on top, so I thought they'd probably see. Because normally you would just put the yellow on top. So I see that, and I'm like not setting it off just yet until they block off the purples. And then they blocked off the purples. So I was like, oh, I guess they didn't see. But then they got like lucky to get all the colors. But that's the risk you take with playing like this. Like, I'm not complaining about that. It's just I probably had a good chance right when they went put that down. I probably had a good chance to win the round, but then that happened. Um, Here I'm setting up for a 3-chain. They might just make the 1-chain. That's what it looks like is gonna happen. And if I have the 3-chain ready, I can just immediately counter it. So like I didn't remember this happened. I'm just looking at their board and it's like that's what they're gonna do. So now I still have the 3-chain and it's gonna be a pretty good option, especially if they block off the yellow trigger for the main chain. But if I don't want to send it immediately, I can extend to the 4-chain. They're trying to force out a 3-chain, but it's hard to get past that. So that's what I read. So I thought they're trying to make a 3-chain, so I'm going to send a 4-chain. And they made a 1 instead. This is 5. So I have to get. I know I needed green and then purples. I think I need the. Okay, that was a really good. I'm looking at the 1-chain. If the colors are there. And the colors are there if I get red, blue. So you just kind of place pieces until you get it. But then when you see it coming, then you look over. And I knew they were sending a 2 double, but I didn't have anything besides the 1-chain. So I was like, I just have to send the 1-chain to counter the 2 double. And now I'm in a bad spot because my chain isn't really there. So I just had to like try and win the round by forcing something to happen. But I can still make a chain, so this was a mistake on their side. But I didn't realize that it was close. I should have extended one more. And then I could have won the round there, probably. Or that was a better play, I think. Well, I don't even know. And then I knew, wow, I didn't look at their field at all, just because I was focused on getting my own chain built up. But that's true. But they should have gone for a more normal chain. Because now I have the advantage. Pretty big advantage, but I could throw the round still. 4 double. Oh, clear. I need the blue. So it's really important to get that blue in. And I was trying to pay attention to what they were going to send. A lot of times when I would get into this type of position, I would just build something without looking, but this time I was trying to look and see what they have most of the time and make sure I was actually beating it and not just like sending something that was guaranteed to lose. So here, it looks like they're forcing out a 3-chain. They're going to put the greens and the red and trigger on the purples, and it looks like they're just going to do that. But with all the double green, I think I knew that was happening, but with the double greens, I couldn't figure out like where to place them to do something about that. So you see me slow down a little bit. and they actually only did two, so it's not that bad. But the two double follow-up is really fast. But all the way here, I was like predicting that was what was gonna happen, but I just didn't know what to do against it. Here they're like really vulnerable, but they're making the two chain. My build is pretty strong as a counter build as well, so I'm not gonna get like immediately covered. This is also a fine play. So I have a better form left over, and I can do a lot of things on my side. Here, with the blues, it's 3-chain. Looks like they're going to make a 2-double or a 2-double 3-chain trigger on the green. So I'd be ready to handle that. They could also get a green-red trigger and make a 2-double 3-chain that way. But I kind of have to make a counter to that. So that's like the only thing to do in this situation, because that's the only thing they can do pretty much. So I can either send main chain immediately because they can't connect main chain, which is what I was thinking, I think. And that's what I did, I think. Yeah, I probably, they actually, so I was reading that they're going to make a 2 or a 3-chain, but in order to counter that, they actually built up to a 4-chain. So if I committed really hard to that read, then I would have lost to the 4-chain. But I didn't. They still got off. Oh, the purples. I think they had enough. Here, this is a bit of a tricky attack because it looks similar to the build I usually do, but it's actually an attack. So the way they're building their GTR, if they fill it in, then they're going to be really vulnerable. So I can really look to attack, and they filled it in, so I should just attack as fast as I can, unless I see like green, purple. Exactly. And I didn't, so I went straight for it, and they can't do anything. So it's like, right when I saw this, then it's like, if they don't get green, purple, they're gonna be vulnerable, so just attack immediately. And they didn't. But I felt like they weren't really reading my opening that much, and they're just kind of doing their own thing. So sometimes I'll like build something and see if the opponent reacts or not. And then if they react, you know that you can like kind of force them to react because they're reading what you're doing. And if they don't react, then you know you can kind of get away with like doing tricky builds because they might not read it. So you can pressure them that way. So here I'm making the 2-double with the 1/8 piece, with the red blue. I'm pretty sure I'm going to send it. I don't actually remember, but the way their build is, they don't have anything immediate to counter it. But that's a pretty good build. They had something there that I saw. So it looks like they're looking for blues and reds, but they can go green, yellow instead. And if they connected the greens to make a group of 3, it would have been a lot easier to dig after they take the garbage. But now they're gonna have a bit of trouble here. Like, they're kind of locked into a 4-chain and exactly 4. So if I can read that, I can win the round pretty much. So when they set up the blues, it's 4, and it's like exactly 4. They can't do anything about it to make it more or less. It's just 4, but they got the 1/8 piece, so it's gonna be 4 double. But I'll oh, I didn't. get it off though. I should have probably just forced the blue in instead of going for the greens. I think I couldn't read as far as I could read right now while I was playing. Here they might force something on the tail, but they cover it. Here, it looks like they could make a 2-double with the yellows, but they don't. They put the purple here, so it looks less likely. I can make a 2-double with the yellow-green, and purple-blue would make it a triple. So that's probably what I'm going to look at. But you can convert out of these shapes by using the... So that right now the purple is the trigger for a 2-double, but if I use the green as a trigger and put the purples, then I can make a 4-chain or a main chain. So it's not a forced attack. Now it looks like they're going to make a 3-chain on the yellows, so I don't want to send the 2-double immediately. I want to build it up a little bit more to counter their 3-chain if they commit to that. But when they put the blues, they aren't committing to that either. So, so I thought it was like... I think I was in-game, I was like, okay, they might be looking at the 3-chain. So then I was like trying to build up to counter a 3-chain in my head. But then I like looked and I was like, no, that's main chain. So then I put the green. And then the big blue link at the end made the difference. Even if someone has like a big vulnerability like this, if you don't have an attack, it's not worth like forcing an attack unless you can see that you can make a really big attack with the upcoming pieces. You usually don't want to force it because it'll take time to force it, and then during that time they might just complete their transition, and then you just have a bad build yourself, and they just have a normal build that they can work with. So you usually don't want to like force an attack. But here it looks like they're gonna force an attack to put pressure on. So it looks like 3 on the blues. If I see it, I can do yellow-blue and trigger the yellows for a 3 to counter. Or the reds to make 4. So I think that's what I would go for. So I need the blue and then trigger on the reds. I need the blue. So I was... The green makes it 4 though, so that's pretty big. But I... Like the whole... Like I think what I was saying while reviewing this is what I was thinking while I was playing. I was like, they're going to make 3, so I want to make 4 by triggering on the reds. But the double reds were kind of awkward. But I was like, I want to make 4 to counter their 3. But I need the blue and then trigger on the reds. But I was trying to do that. Just go straight to that. I think they... Let's see. So I'd like a blue. What? I had to keep going, I think. Here I really want reds on the left side. They're looking at 2-chain, but it's not the type that you usually send. But I guess they're gonna send it. It's not like people never send them, but it's also not like people always send them. There's certain attacks that's like people almost always send those attacks, and then there's some that's like people just don't usually send them, but sometimes they do. Here I thought my chain was really efficient, so I thought I might be able to surprise them and then just beat them with it. But their chain was just good enough. Like they had extra Puyo left over, but they just had more Puyo. So it was a bit of a risk to attack like that, and I knew that, but I thought maybe I could catch them out because they didn't know how strong my chain was. And I think they actually didn't know. It's just they just happened to have enough anyway. So here I'm gonna make the 2 double. It's one of those. It's very efficient. People always send these when they're so it's like this is coming. Here I'm looking to make it 2 double maybe if I see it. But I don't think I saw it. I think if I saw it I would have sent it. And I didn't see it. So now I can make a 3 chain and that looks really good because they can't get anything good off here. So there's a 3 chain. They can't get all the colors to get to main chain and they don't really have an available chain. And it's hard to build something in time. So yeah. Here I'm gonna look at making an aggressive opening in a way that I usually don't make it. So now I have a lot of power here, but it's like they have a very open trigger. But if I look really closely, they can only make 4 here, so I probably could have sent it, but I didn't look that closely. I just saw the open trigger, and I was like, they're just gonna trigger it. So now I'm trying to make a difficult build. And then I was like, well, I don't have anything else that I can do. And I accidentally cleared the yellows. It's like I would have put a red and set off the greens, but I didn't get those colors. So I was like, well, now I just have to do this. And then oh, they got unlucky. 1/3 bad luck. And now they just need the yellow. Just need the yellow. I knew it was like really close, so I was trying to make small attacks because if I made anything bigger, they're gonna connect everything. So I was like, I have to finish it now. Their build here is kind of awkward. It's good if they want to force an attack, but if they aren't able to use that attack, then they're gonna be in trouble maybe. The red blue's gonna help a lot though. So now they're in a better position because of that. Because they got the red blue. Now there's a 2 double to look at here with the blue trigger. So I think I just have main chain. And they're building to that 2 double. And I think I know that and just send main chain. Oh, I didn't do that. I was looking at the green trigger and I didn't know how to get it when I put the yellow there. So I wanted to make the green trigger, but I can't put the green here in the 3rd column because the other green pops. And I didn't think about just setting off with the red, but that's not necessarily a good play either. So here, if they get yellow-green, they'll make it 2 double, but if they don't, it's kind of hard to play. Here I'm looking at a 2 double if I get the blue, and then the purple trigger, or 2 double 3 with the yellow connection. So I'm probably going to send it because that's really awkward. And they can trigger on the purples, but then their chain isn't that good, and I can probably beat them. So they're making the counter on the right, which is good for them. But my attack was still really good, and my form is kind of better. So I have a big advantage here, I would say. and they're kind of like locked into main chain. If they attack, it's probably going to be on the right side or build on top. So a lot of players at this level won't see it, but you can like do yellow trigger with the yellows and then connect the purple to make a 3 or a 4 chain. But at this level, people don't really look at that option, including me, very often. So it's kind of like you don't have to worry about it. They're gonna main chain or build an attack on the right side. So there's the attack on the right side, but I'm countering it. So I think I actually knew that while I was playing, because I, like what I just said, they're either gonna main chain or build an attack on the right side. So they're building a 2 chain on the right side. So I'm building a 3 chain to counter the 2 chain. And if they got purple, it'd be 3, but I would still be in a good spot anyway. So now they're main chaining, but I have a better form. So as long as I set it off, as long as I didn't take the best extension line, but it worked out in the end. Oh, here I'm building a 2 double, but it's not one that you have to commit to because you can trigger on the yellows instead of the reds to make a 3 chain or a main chain. So I'm going to look at it and decide if I want to send it. Here, it looks like they can main chain, so it might not be the best idea to immediately send it. But if they like build more on top of the trigger, then it might be better to send it like here. But they still have the same shape, so I'm still not looking to send it immediately. And there's a lot of reds coming. So I'm still looking, but they still have the same shape, so it's like not a good risk to take. And again, I can build out by triggering on the yellows, but it becomes hard to mentally track all of the options at the same time. So the more I'm looking at attacking, the less I'm able to focus on like building a main chain. And it's still there, it's just their trigger is still there, so and I really need to put a green here, but it's hard to see that. And now I counter with it, so they're gonna have to main chain. But if I can build up, the blue trigger is the best. Yeah. Oh, yellow! So that's playing pretty well. Like I knew when I had to extend, I extended pretty well. Here it wasn't. It doesn't look like enough, but actually, oh, they're messing it up. Like they could have won if they didn't clear that, and now they're in danger. That's not gonna beat it. So here, if they were like a stronger player, they would probably be able to do something better there. And even for like someone like me, I tend to make mistakes in situations like that, even though technically I'm able to play it well. When it comes to an actual match, I'll make a lot of mistakes. So that's part of the reason why I'm like not a stronger player. So here I'm looking at the 2 double, but the blues are open, so I can't send it. Again, even if I look at the colors they're drawing, in the time it takes for the 2 chain to resolve, they'll get more pieces. So it's like there's a good chance one of those pieces will have a blue. So it's not worth the risk. But once they do that, now it's like I really want to send this because they have nothing. There's no way to get that off. So I just have to draw blue. There's the blue. I'm going to send it immediately because that's so. It takes too many pieces to get that, and then you just win. So here I'm just building a chain. There's gonna be ways to defend with it, but not many ways to attack with it. Here it looks like they're doing complicated multiple stacking, but if you don't attack it immediately, it's going to end up in a defensive shape. So um, if you can't attack it immediately, you probably shouldn't attack it because they're going to like put reds and yellows, and then they'll have a 3 or a 4 or a 5 chain. So it's not there immediately, but if you don't capitalize immediately, they'll get there. They can also do the red trigger for a 2 double, but that one's a bit trickier to see. So they weren't there immediately, so they're just getting there, but they're like they got there kind of. And so that was a bit I think I wasn't really trying to attack. I just kind of got the piece in an awkward spot like here and then I didn't know what to do cuz it's going to pop something either direction you put it. But they had a chance to punish with like a 4 chain if they were faster and if they got the right colors. So it's not a very good attack to do there. But now they're kind of stuck in that same position where it's like on the left side they have main chain. So if they attack, they might build an attack on the right side. But you can read the attack coming because they're gonna like force out like this 2 chain is pretty likely to be sent. But I don't have an immediate counter, so I predict they're gonna send that 2 chain. Oh no, they're just gonna main chain. But they cut the yellows. So now they have a 3 chain option. Now their options are there. So there's a 3 chain or main chain. I saw it was a 3 chain and I just went for main chain to see if they could out extend it because their tell wasn't great, but they got all the right colors, but they messed up here. They should have won this round. Like I think here they already have enough, I think. They just couldn't read. I knew this when I was playing. I was like, my tell is actually really bad, but I might win because of that. Because like the reds and purples don't connect, but it looks like they might. So if you didn't look carefully, you might think you need a little bit more. But they probably could have put the yellow in column 5 and connected on the tell and then triggered it on the green, and then they I would have just won the round. Even the green trigger here would just win, I think. But they tried to use the yellows on the front instead of on the tail, and then that meant they couldn't make it. So they got a little bit unlucky, but they should have extended it in a different way, and they would have won for sure. Or read the size of my chain better. Here, they kind of have to commit to a lot of multiple stacking to build a defensive form, like go through these yellows on the top instead of. So if they trigger on the right side, it's going to be main chain. But if they commit to a lot of multiple stacking and go through the yellows, then they'll have a defensive shape. But it's not something that I have to worry about yet because I don't have an attack coming. I can just look and say they don't have an attack coming either, so it's not a big deal. Here though, now they're going through the yellows this way, but they're making it a 2 double instead of like a multiple stacking. So I see this 2 double coming and I know I have to defend against it. This is the one where it's like, it's pretty committal and people generally send these if they build it. So it's like, you know this is coming, so I want the red to make a 3 chain, maybe even red purple to make a 4 chain, but I know this 2 double is coming. So I play with no hesitation. I just put everything down because it's like they're gonna send this 2 double, and that's why I build like this. So it's a counter, but it's not the best counter. This round is still pretty even. But that was the best I could come up with in the situation. Now I can look at a 3 chain on these yellows. they're, again, pretty committed to main chain here, but the purples are blocked off on their tail. So forcing them to main chain might even be a good idea. So even if they get main chain, I might still be able to win the round. I just have to do this right. I don't know about that one. I feel like that's the wrong spot for that. I feel like I'm gonna lose. I shouldn't put it there. Here I'm going for the attack. So this is the attack opening. And this is enough power that's like, you just look to send it as is. You don't have to get more damage in, but if you can, it can be nice. So if they put the red blue down, then you just send it. But they split it. So I'm looking, and then if they put it straight down, I was going to send my attack immediately. But they split it, so I didn't send the attack. So I'm still looking. But I think they know that I'm looking at that, so they're not covering the trigger. So I'm still looking. Like, when are you going to cover this? It's like, come on. And they built this much. And then they covered it. Here, they think I committed too hard to the attack that I can't build anything, but it's a risk to do that. So, so I was able to outbuild them here. The purple connection was lucky. I didn't know that was gonna happen. And I actually needed it. I should have done a 3 double instead of a 4 chain. But it didn't matter. Here, I can make a 3 chain. Most people don't attack with it, but I attack with those. If it looks like a good time for it. I can also make the 1 chain, which is actually good. Now I can make another 1 chain if I want. But that one's also less good, I think. That's a powerful 2 chain, so I want to defend that. Here, they've been ending up in this situation a lot where on the left side, they only have main chain. So if they want to attack or defend, they kind of have to build it on the right side, but it's limited what they can do there. So it's like still main chain. They have to go on top to make it not main chain or trigger the 1. So now they're looking on top. Now they're gonna main chain. This one's hard to get. Oh, wow. I think that was a pretty good line to take. I just didn't get the colors for it. But I like how he built it. Here, this is another tricky attack option, because again, I said I felt like they weren't reading my openings that well, so I could do tricky things like this and they probably wouldn't notice. Like, sometimes they would notice the obvious ones, I think. But I saw the blue-purple, but, like, by the time I saw it, it was too late to react. Because if you slow down to look that hard, then you just can't. Like, you fall behind too much and you allow them to draw more pieces. So, like, as I was putting it down, I saw blue-purple coming, and I was like, oh, they're gonna get it. But, like, at that point, I was already committed to sending it. Here, it looks like they're gonna send a 1 or a 2 again because it's tough to do anything else. So I can pressure that because when you know your opponent's gonna send something, you can take advantage of that by just sending something bigger. So I can get pretty aggressive here because it looks like they're gonna 2 chain. Because, but I couldn't figure out anything better than what I had, so I just sent that. But that was so that was kind of risky for them because I knew they were gonna do that, and I could have beaten them. Here they're a little bit behind, so if they main chain, it's not actually that good. I I misunderstood. The yellows were doubling, but it doesn't matter because their chain wasn't very big. And this one's match point. Here it looks like they're forcing a 2 chain. So 2 is enough where you can just tank the garbage. So you don't have to do anything too crazy to counter it. But it's still a bit dangerous because it looks like they're gonna get some power with the yellows. And it looks like they're kind of committed to sending it too. So you'll see me take this awkward line to defend because I was like pretty sure that a 2 chain was coming. You're right. Mm, no, that's fine. I wanted to just connect to main chain, but it's not necessarily the right thing to do here because they have main chain as well if they get those yellows to pop. So I tried to do a difficult trigger because when these yellows pop, it's also my main chain. Oh, now they're in trouble. They didn't know, I think. So now they're like in trouble. And that wasn't anything. So it was a good first round. I think I was reading what they were doing pretty well and building good chains and doing pretty good extensions. So I did everything pretty well for me. There's still some small mistakes, but overall it was good.